Hi there, I'm Don Alejandro, and this is my good friend
John Harney.
And this is Current Events early June 2017. Now, we've had a lot of things going on in the news right now, but one thing we want to focus on is that Donald Trump is actually keeping his promises.
He is.
He said he was going to pull us out of the Paris Climate Agreement, and he has pulled us out. And there's much wailing and gnashing of the teeth, but Donald Trump said he was going to do it, and he's done it.
And there's groups of people in Pittsburgh that are happy, that he kept his promise. Mm-hmm. The steel workers. Hey, you can't fault the president for saying I'm going to do this and then he does it. I'd much rather have that than someone who's not keeping his promises.
Well, that's one of the things I've really noticed is the big difference between people who hate Trump and people who like Trump. The people who like Trump just pay attention to what he actually does. They're like, he does this and he does it. He does this and he does it. And they look at the record like, hey, I'm happy. Now, the people who don't like Trump are like, he says this, he acts like this, his hair,
skin color,
anything but what he actually does.
What is up with the orange, though?
You know what? It gives people things to talk about. And
Do you think that's
I think it's kind of like a male version of Lady Gaga.
Too much carrot juice?
I think it's a male version of Lady Gaga. Okay, Lady Gaga leapt
on
the
president Lady Gaga.
The male version of Lady Gaga. Okay, Lady Gaga. I remember I was flabbergasted. Okay, because she came on the scene and she just said, "I'm going to take things up to 11. I'm going to dial them up to 15. Sure. I'm going to be as outrageous as I possibly can." And guess what? Everyone paid attention to her. It worked.
Well,
And somewhere in the war room, Donald Trump's like, you know what? I think I know where she stole her act. I think I'm going to do her one better.
Hey, there's no doubt that he is a master of manipulating the media. I mean, he's been doing it. That's what he does.
He was destined for this.
He gets people all riled up about one thing, and then he goes the other way and does something else, and they go, "When did you do that?"
Huh. Like he's triangulating the Saudis. He goes to the Saudis, and and that was a brilliant move. He's saying, "I'm on your side," and that puts us with the Saudis and Saudis aside, but it's a pragmatic choice, and that's one of the things that a lot of people don't get right now is sometimes we don't get everything we want. Okay, would I like it if Donald Trump was a smooth talking, debonair Bruce Wayne type person? Yes, that would be great, but that's not my option. My option is a guy who's getting things done, trying to turn the country around, and putting working middle class Americans first, as opposed to ideas which make people feel good. And that's a big difference.
I agree. Actions speak louder than words. And one of the things that I think that we need to keep looking at is where's the president going to be in terms of the tax reform? Mm-hmm. I think he's going to need tremendous help because the left side of the political wing is completely opposed to passing anything that he proposes. I think that he's going to revisit healthcare at some point. Again, he's letting kind of the battle simmer and then coming back to it and see if he can win the war. But my biggest concern is that somehow they decide to bring the Democrats and some moderate people decide to bring some sort of impeachment process on him.
Well, the thing is, near as I can tell, they probably would have done it by now. That's what I'm thinking. If they had the bomb, they would have set it off. That they haven't set it off yet gives me some hope. Now, has Donald Trump done anything illegal? So far, no, and so far people owe me $20 on that bet. I did. They start talking. I put $20 to your favorite charity. They're not going to find anything illegal, and they just kind of.
Well, he's not dummy. He's got lawyers that read and help him figure out what the Constitution says that you can or cannot do.
Right.
So he's not stupid.
He's not.
But is he willing to take a risk? Absolutely. Why not?
Well, the thing about the healthcare deal is this is attacking something people already have. And that is a dangerous thing. It's people, and that's why he's moving very strategically. He has to take something that people have away from them and survive. All right? There are people out there who rightly or wrongly believe that a death toll will occur if he dismantles Obamacare. And that's one of the reasons I think that he has decided to let Obamacare crash under its own weight. Number one, he took off the teeth. He instructed the IRS not to collect the penalties for not having health insurance.
Doesn't matter though, because what ends up happening is that if you get it through the marketplace, they give you a specific form that you have to declare on your tax returns. Otherwise, you get a nasty little letter from the IRS saying your refund's going to be withheld until you submit this form.
Well, he's still moving slowly. And the idea is that Obamacare collapses and then it's not his fault. He has to also keep the right happy, so he has to work on the problem, but kind of like not actually work on the problem. Because if he dismantles it, then it's his fault. If he lets it die,
I've heard this argument before. The issue that I have with it is that, just as we were saying earlier, that he made certain promises, he needs to keep them. And one of the problems was that he was going to dismantle Obamacare. So he has to own up to that. He can't put it and say, well, it just fell apart and whatever. He has to own up to saying, I'm systematically destroying Obamacare or bringing it down so that we can have something better, which I think we need.
Well, what he's going to do, I'm predicting, is he is going to move slowly until the U.S. economy starts to pick up a little steam. Once people start getting new jobs, once they start their jobs, their businesses start to grow a little bit, then he has a little bit of cushion to toggle back on Obamacare. But he has to wait for the economy to see the effects of his tax return, of his energy policy, and of his foreign policy.
That's probably correct. Yes, I would agree with you on that.
So at any rate, I'm calling it. That's the way I see it going. We'll see if this prediction turns out. Until it does, I'm Don Alejandro. This is
John Harney.
This is Two Grumpy Men, current events, early June 2017.